Welcome back to Antique Coins Information, your go-to source for discovering hidden treasures in the world of rare and valuable coins. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating story of the top 3 most valuable Lincoln pennies ever found. Pennies so rare and iconic that collectors have paid millions for them. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your coin collecting journey, you won't want to miss these stunning pieces of American history. Let's uncover the pennies that have made numismatic history. In the vast and fascinating world of American coin collecting, some coins hide their true value in plain sight. They sit quietly in old jars, forgotten drawers, and inherited collections, waiting patiently for the moment someone finally realizes what they truly are. Today's story is about one such coin, a humble copper cent that most people overlook every single day. This is the story of the United States of America 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that appears ordinary but carries a legacy, mystery, and surprising worth. The 1974 Lincoln penny was born during a time of change in America. The nation was moving through economic uncertainty, rising inflation, and cultural transformation. Gas lines, shifting political landscapes, and evolving industries marked the era. Amid all this, the United States Mint continued its timeless duty of producing everyday coinage, including the Lincoln 1-cent penny. These pennies were struck in enormous numbers, intended for daily use, circulation, and trade, never meant to be special. Or so it seemed. The no-mint mark penny from 1974 was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. At that time, coins struck in Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark, which is why this penny appears plain at first glance. Millions upon millions were released into circulation, passing through countless hands, pockets, and cash registers. Children spent them on candy, adults dropped them into tip jars, and many disappeared into couch cushions, never to be seen again. Yet among these common coins, certain examples emerged that would one day capture the attention of serious collectors. What makes the 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so intriguing is not just its age, but its subtle characteristics. This coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth. Lincoln's strong profile, calm expression, and timeless presence connect this small coin to one of the most significant figures in American history. On the reverse side, the familiar Lincoln Memorial stands proudly, symbolizing unity, perseverance, and national identity. At a glance, the penny may look like any other from the era, but collectors know better. The details matter. The sharpness of Lincoln's hair, the clarity of the date, the strength of the lettering, and the overall surface quality all play a crucial role in determining value. Pennies from 1974 were still composed primarily of copper, giving them a rich reddish tone when preserved well. Over time, many became darkened, scratched, or worn, but a select few survived in exceptional condition. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. A circulated penny that spent decades moving from hand to hand may be worth only face value, but an uncirculated example tells a completely different story. Coins that were saved early, protected from wear, and stored carefully can retain their original mint luster. When light reflects off such a coin, it reveals a smooth, almost glowing surface that immediately catches the eye of collectors. Beyond condition, strike quality is another factor that elevates certain 1974 no-mint mark pennies above the rest. Some coins were struck more cleanly than others, showing crisp details in Lincoln's face and the memorial's columns. These well-struck examples are highly desirable, especially when combined with minimal imperfections. Even tiny differences, invisible to the untrained eye, can significantly impact a coin's desirability and worth. Another layer of fascination comes from the historical moment in which the coin was produced. The early 1970s were a transitional period for U.S. coinage. Rising copper prices would soon lead to changes in metal composition, making earlier copper pennies increasingly appealing to collectors. As time passed, these coins became symbols of a bygone era, representing a period when even a single cent carried substantial purchasing power compared to today. Collectors are drawn to coins like the 1974 no-mint mark penny not only for their monetary value, but for the stories they tell. Each coin is a silent witness to history. It may have traveled across states, passed through countless hands, or sat untouched in a collection for decades. When you hold such a coin, you are holding a piece of American life from nearly half a century ago. The excitement surrounding this penny has grown steadily over the years. As fewer high-grade examples remain, demand continues to rise. Professional grading services play a major role in identifying top-quality specimens. When a coin receives a high grade, it becomes certified, authenticated, and preserved in a protective holder. These graded examples often command strong attention in auctions, where collectors compete fiercely to secure the finest known pieces. What truly captivates collectors is the realization that extraordinary value can emerge from something so small. The idea that a simple penny, once dismissed as spare change, can be transformed into a prized collectible is both thrilling and inspiring. It encourages people to re-examine their collections, dig through old boxes, and look more closely at the coins they may have ignored for years. For many collectors, the 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln penny represents opportunity. It is a reminder that valuable treasures are not always ancient or exotic. Sometimes, they are hidden in everyday objects, waiting for curiosity and knowledge to unlock their potential. This coin bridges the gap between casual hobbyists and serious numismatists, offering an accessible entry point into the deeper world of coin collecting. As time moves forward, interest in classic Lincoln pennies continues to grow. New collectors enter the hobby each year, driven by nostalgia, investment potential, and a love for history. The 1974 no-mint mark penny remains a standout example of how condition, rarity within commonality, and historical context can combine to create remarkable value. So the next time you come across an old penny, pause for a moment. Look at the date, examine the surface, and consider its story. That small copper coin may carry more significance than you ever imagined. In the quiet world of numismatics, even the simplest penny can become a star, and when preserved in exceptional condition and recognized by collectors, the value of the 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny can reach an astonishing level, with top examples valued at $18,937. When most people think about pennies, they imagine loose change forgotten in a drawer, slipped between couch cushions, or rattling at the bottom of a jar. Almost no one stops to think that a simple 1-cent coin could hold a fascinating story, a hidden history, and in some rare cases, a surprising amount of value. Today's story is about one such coin, the United States of America 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, a coin that quietly entered circulation without fanfare, yet decades later continues to intrigue collectors, historians, and everyday people who wonder if the penny in their hand might be worth far more than its face value. The year 1981 was a time of transition in the United States. The country was moving into a new decade, inflation had reshaped everyday prices, and even the humble penny was on the brink of change. At this time, Lincoln cents were still made primarily of copper, giving them a solid weight and rich tone that modern pennies no longer have. This alone makes pennies from this era special, because just a year later, the composition would shift dramatically, changing the feel, sound, and long-term durability of the coin forever. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln cent was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins struck there traditionally do not carry a mint mark, which is why this penny appears plain beneath the date. To an untrained eye, it looks ordinary, almost unremarkable. Yet this very simplicity is part of what makes it interesting. Millions were minted, yes, but not all survived in equal condition, and not all were struck with the same precision. On the front of the coin, Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait faces to the right, calm and dignified. The design, originally created by Victor David Brenner, has been a symbol of American coinage for generations. The word liberty appears to the left, the date 1981 sits to the right, and the phrase "In God We Trust" arches above Lincoln's head. Every detail tells a story of craftsmanship, tradition, and national identity. Turn the coin over, and you find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959. The memorial's clean lines and architectural detail represent stability and remembrance. Inside the structure, if you look closely, you can even see a tiny seated statue of Lincoln, one of the most intricate details ever placed on a circulating coin. Above the memorial reads United States of America, with the words 1 cent clearly stating its face value. What truly sets the 1981 no-mint mark penny apart is not just its age or design, but the variations and conditions in which it exists today. During this period, quality control at the mint was not perfect. Dies wore down, pressure varied, and planchets were sometimes imperfect. These factors led to subtle differences between coins, differences that collectors carefully study and prize. Condition plays a massive role in determining a coin's worth. A penny that has circulated heavily, showing scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details, will usually hold only sentimental value. But a coin that escaped circulation, stored safely away from moisture and handling, can look almost exactly as it did the day it was minted. These high-grade examples can display sharp lettering, bold details, and a beautiful original luster that reflects light like a freshly struck coin. Collectors especially seek examples with strong strikes, clean fields, and minimal marks. Even small imperfections can significantly impact value. A tiny nick on Lincoln's cheek, a scratch across the memorial, or discoloration from improper storage can lower desirability. On the other hand, a flawless surface with even color and crisp details can dramatically elevate a coin's status. There is also excitement around era coins from 1981. While rare, some pennies were struck with off-center designs, double details, or unusual planchet issues. These errors often escaped into circulation unnoticed, only to be discovered years later by sharp-eyed collectors. Error coins add another layer of mystery and potential value to this already intriguing penny. Another important factor is composition. 1981 pennies are predominantly copper, weighing more than modern zinc-based cents. This copper content gives the coin a warm, rich appearance and a satisfying heft in the hand. Many collectors prefer these older copper cents, viewing them as the last representatives of a bygone era in American coinage. The historical context of the 1981 penny adds emotional value as well. It represents the final moments before a major change in U.S. minting practices. Holding one is like holding a small piece of history, a reminder of a time when coins were made differently, when materials mattered, and when craftsmanship was visible even in the smallest denomination. Over the years, demand for high-quality examples of this penny has grown steadily. As more coins are lost, damaged, or destroyed, the number of pristine survivors continues to shrink. This natural scarcity fuels collector interest and pushes values higher, especially for coins that have been professionally graded and authenticated. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification, evaluating surface preservation, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. A high grade from a respected service can transform an ordinary-looking penny into a highly sought-after collectible. These graded coins are encapsulated in protective holders, preserving them for future generations and providing confidence to buyers and sellers alike. For everyday people, the idea that a penny could be valuable is both exciting and motivating. It encourages closer inspection of pocket change, old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten boxes in attics and drawers. Many collectors began their journey after discovering a single coin that sparked curiosity and wonder. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is a perfect example of how value is not always obvious. It teaches us that age alone does not determine worth, but rather a combination of history, condition, rarity, and demand. It reminds us that even the smallest objects can carry stories far bigger than themselves. As interest in coin collecting continues to grow worldwide, coins like this one remain at the center of attention. They bridge the gap between everyday life and historical preservation, offering both educational value and the thrill of potential discovery. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to explore the hobby, this penny represents opportunity, curiosity, and the enduring appeal of American coinage. So the next time you come across a 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, do not dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look. Examine its surface, its shine, its details. You might be holding more than just a cent. You might be holding a small copper time capsule, a survivor from an era on the edge of change, and possibly a coin that has captured the attention of collectors across the nation. In exceptional condition, this particular penny has been known to reach a value as high as $15,566. The humble Lincoln 1-cent penny has a way of surprising even seasoned collectors, and among all modern-era coins, the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny stands out as one of the most fascinating and misunderstood pieces in American numismatic history. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary copper-colored cent you might have received as change at a grocery store decades ago. Yet behind its familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln lies a story of transition, experimentation, and hidden value that continues to captivate collectors today. To truly appreciate the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, we need to travel back to a moment of economic pressure in the United States. By the early 1980s, the rising cost of copper had become a serious problem for the U.S. Mint. For years, Lincoln cents were struck primarily in copper, but the metal's value was creeping dangerously close to the face value of the coin itself. This forced the mint into one of the most significant changes in modern coinage history, and 1982 became the pivotal year when everything shifted. What makes this year so special is that it was not a clean, simple transition. Instead, the mint produced Lincoln pennies using different metal compositions and slightly different designs within the same year. Some were struck in the traditional copper alloy, while others were made using a zinc core coated with copper. For collectors, this created a complex and intriguing puzzle. The no-mint mark variety, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, sits right at the center of this transformation, making it especially important. The obverse of the coin features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of his birth. On the 1982 penny, Lincoln's portrait remains dignified and strong, facing right, with the word Liberty behind him and the date clearly displayed in front. Above his head, the familiar motto "In God We Trust" arches across the top. While this design might seem unchanged, subtle variations in strike quality and detail can reveal clues about how and when the coin was made. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial dominates the design, a feature that was used from 1959 until 2008. The memorial appears stately and symmetrical, with the tiny seated statue of Lincoln visible inside if the strike is sharp enough. The inscriptions "United States of America" and 1 cent frame the memorial, while the motto "E Pluribus Unum" rests above it. For many collectors, this reverse design evokes nostalgia, reminding them of a time when these pennies were still common in everyday circulation. What truly elevates the 1982 no-mint mark penny from ordinary to extraordinary is the story of its metal composition. During this year, pennies were struck in both copper alloy and copper-plated zinc, and identifying which version you have can make a dramatic difference in collector interest. The copper versions are slightly heavier, while the zinc versions are lighter. This difference, though small, is critical to numismatists and has led to countless collectors weighing their coins with precision scales in hopes of uncovering a special example. Beyond composition, there are also variations in the lettering and overall strike that add to the intrigue. Some coins from 1982 display a sharper, more defined appearance, while others show softer details. These variations are the result of different dyes and production methods used during a year of experimentation. For collectors, this makes the hunt far more exciting, because each coin tells its own subtle story. Condition plays a massive role in determining the worth of any collectible coin, and the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is no exception. Coins that spent years in circulation often show signs of wear, including smoothing on Lincoln's cheek, flattening of the hair details, and reduced sharpness on the Lincoln memorial. However, coins that were saved early or never entered circulation can display stunning detail, with crisp lines and original luster that still catches the light decades later. Uncirculated examples are especially prized, as they offer a snapshot of the coin exactly as it left the mint. These pieces often exhibit bright surfaces, sharp edges, and strong design elements. When preserved properly, they can stand out dramatically from the countless worn pennies that passed through millions of hands during the 1980s and 90s. Another factor that adds to the appeal of this penny is its connection to a broader historical narrative. The early 1980s were a time of economic uncertainty, inflation concerns, and shifting policies in the United States. The decision to change the composition of the penny reflects how even the smallest denomination of currency is influenced by larger economic forces. Owning a 1982 no-mint mark penny is like holding a tangible piece of that moment in history. Collectors also appreciate this coin because it represents a bridge between eras. It stands at the crossroads between traditional copper cents and the modern zinc-based pennies that followed. For many numismatists, coins from transitional years are among the most desirable, as they capture change in progress rather than a finished outcome. The popularity of Lincoln cents as a whole also plays a role in the sustained interest in this coin. The Lincoln penny is one of the most widely collected series in the world, appealing to beginners and advanced collectors alike. This broad appeal means that even subtle varieties and special issues, like the 1982 no-mint mark cent, receive significant attention in the collector community. Authentication and grading are crucial steps for anyone who believes they have a particularly valuable example. Professional grading services evaluate a coin's authenticity, condition, and overall quality, assigning it a grade that helps determine its market value. High-grade examples of the 1982 no-mint mark penny can command impressive attention, especially when they display exceptional preservation and desirable characteristics. For collectors who enjoy the thrill of discovery, this penny offers endless possibilities. Many people still search through old jars of change, inherited collections, or forgotten rolls of coins, hoping to uncover a standout example. The idea that a simple 1-cent coin could hold significant value is part of what keeps the hobby alive and exciting. Even beyond its monetary worth, the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny carries sentimental and educational value. It teaches us about economics, manufacturing, history, and the importance of careful observation. It reminds us that sometimes, the most ordinary objects can have extraordinary stories if we take the time to look closely. As interest in rare and transitional coins continues to grow, the spotlight on this particular penny remains strong. Collectors around the world recognize it as a key piece from a year of major change, and its reputation has only increased over time. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning to explore the world of coin collecting, this penny serves as a perfect example of how depth and value can be found in unexpected places. In the end, the 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is far more than just spare change. It is a symbol of adaptation, a witness to economic shifts, and a prized collectible for those who understand its significance. For the right example, preserved in exceptional condition and recognized for its unique qualities, collectors have seen values reach as high as $11,992.